Good evening. Welcome to Plus Money Golf on the Fantasy Sports Corporation Network. The show with the pro and the caddy. That would be Adam and Smitty. My name's Eric. I'm just the host. Chris is over here doing all the real work, making sure the show is operational. The stream is on the internet streaming. We're brought to you by our good friends at Jazz Sportsbook, Casino, and Racebook, as well as our good buddies Underdog Fantasy. Use code Plus Money, all one word, to get 100% deposit match. We'll probably do some more stuff with Underdog later. Let's greet our actual golf guys. Adam was out qualifying for the John Deere. Ever heard of it? Adam, how's the golf game?
No, I was just playing at the course, not qualifying. But
you're just warming up, just familiarizing.
Test ride, little test drive. It was okay. I played all right. We finished second team event. I think I finished like T14, so got a little work to do, but it was still good.
That sounds like in the mix to me, Smitty.
Yeah, it was fun. The course was awesome. It was in really good shape. So for this early in the year, the rough was getting thick and looked like they had redone some bunkering, and so kind of have a little bit of an insight on the course already.
Isn't it amazing what like grounds crews in the Midwest can do to golf courses this early?
Yeah, it's nuts. It was the fairways were in really good shape. The greens have been airified, but they were still probably rolling 12. And the fairways were a little beat up. They just, it hasn't been warm down here yet, but the bunkers were really good. The rough was getting juicy. So it's going to be a tough driving course this year if they keep the rough juicy like that.
It's just 50 every day up here in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Are people hitting the links out at Erin Hills, Smitty?
No, not open yet for a little while, a few weeks. I have some orientation coming up here within the next week and a half or so that I need to go to, but we'll see. I have my other job, I guess, that I can't always make everything. But I don't know. I can't even. I think I'm going on. I got to remember. I think I'm going on close to 10 years there now. It's crazy.
Gotta be, because it was 8+ when we started the show, so we got to be closing in on 10 by now.
Yeah, it's gotta be. I have to think about that for a second, but yeah, it's my 9th or 10th year there now, so it's kind of getting crazy. But I'm excited. Always fun things going on.
Oh yeah, full on expert. Last week, not that fun. I don't know. It was weird. I didn't watch most of it. This team event thing they did last week. I know Antley, the unstoppable plus 300 team, didn't get it done.
I watched a little bit. I didn't watch a whole lot. I was busy. But it was a decent tournament. It was just not a lot of excitement.
Yeah, with that kind of format, it's a lot of fun to watch when it's at a challenging course with all the top guns, aka the Ryder Cup. But when you have, and I'm not trying to say anything like ill of the people that were playing in it, because there's a lot of really good golfers that played in it, but it just doesn't do it for me this early in the year to watch like a partner team event like that. I'd rather see guys going out there playing for themselves and me understanding them a little bit better, so that when there's a tournament going on, I can actually bet on that makes sense. You have a little bit more homework in the backpack, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I thought the pairing, some of the teams, the guys that usually play together in the team events, like the President's Cup and the Ryder Cup, they all did pretty well.
Yeah.
And then some of the young guys that are getting close to making that Ryder Cup team, with 6 picks this year, it's going to be a little more interesting to see what he does. And then, we got a couple live guys that have a very high possibility of qualifying for the Ryder Cup too. So,
yeah. And for some of those guys, this is super important for them in those terms, right?
Yeah. Zach Johnson definitely pays attention to these goofy events where you have
absolutely
guys playing together. Cause if Nick Hardy and Davis Riley make the team, that they played pretty good all week in 2 different formats, that would be a pretty good group for rookies to be comfortable with each other.
Yep.
Networking event. I guess. This week, it's El Campeonato del Mexico, or if you think medium is spicy, the Mexico Championship at Nuevo Vallarta, awarded Renovation of the Year by Golf Incorporated magazine last year. The Vidanta Vallarta course features wall-to-wall paspalum. You'll have to explain to me what that
Paspalum.
paspalum
Yeah,
layout.
just a type of grass.
Okay. Paspalum. Boy,
How did you not know that, Eric?
It's like a real wide bladed grass. It's like a Caribbean grass that you see, like if you go to Dominican, Mexico, Jamaica, places like that. It's real. I think maybe
Lots of those
even-
resort style places.
Yeah, but I think even some of the Cali courses, like I want to say that Torrey has paspalum. And even I don't think LA Country Club is where we're having the US Open, but it's a real quirky grass, like kind of like zoysia grass, where it's just it's not fun to play off of, but it's almost like you catch flyers all the time.
It says it has like turf grass characteristics.
Yeah.
So that means it's like it's kind of gnarly and like super thick, and
it's not a favorite on tour, I would say. There is guys that play good on paspalum grass. I mean, our boy Bahati, who plays every tournament under the sun that's professional in the Caribbean area.
That's what I thought when you said Caribbean grass.
He's playing this week, and I was like, oh, if that guy's in the field, he's the Caribbean king.
I know you look at, I'll get into that more, I guess, in a little bit, but yeah, you look at a lot of stuff that he's done in the recent past, and it's a little bit of an eye opener, especially when you look at those numbers.
He cashes every time top 10 in the Caribbean. It's crazy.
Yeah.
This place looks incredible. It winds along the Amica River. The bunkers are described as cavernous, undulating greens. You got to throw an undulating in there, I've noticed, when you're describing a golf course.
Yeah, I think this is a Nicklaus course, so kind of, I would say they're undulating, but to me, the Nicklaus greens are pretty easy to understand because they're like tiered, and you have like 3 or 4 sections where they'll put the pins. So you get a lot of holes where you can like feeder shots where you can hit it in one spot and it feeds down there, so you don't have to like attack it.
I didn't know they awarded renovations. You got a renovation of the year award.
It's a big time deal.
They're always redoing these things, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, usually courses go through like a major renovation. That's like, a club gets renovation of the year. That's like a stamp on it. Almost
so
like
this is
the best course.
This is a Greg Norman design course.
Is it?
Yeah.
Shaq.
I saw they had a few different ones there. I wasn't sure which one it was.
Yeah. Interesting.
The Nair course.
Yeah. He wants to get a women's live going on. Greg Norman's got a lot of
He's got a lot of ideas.
He's an idea man.
Yeah. You should have started with the ladies tour, because I think it would have been more well received because they could use the money.
Yeah, I mean, you could really just pop off women's sports in general with all of a sudden you're going to be giving women golfers all this money when
for Saudis with their, what people look at them as, if you just say we're dumping it all into women's golf to start, I mean,
change some perspective.
That probably would have boosted the whole thing. It probably would have been the death blow for the PGA Tour, though, because if the LPGA did it and it turned out to be super successful, and then now everybody's bailing ship. So
yeah,
good thing you didn't think of that first.
Yeah,
I mean,
this course
is like the 6th longest on PGA Tour. So that's 74.56, so just under 7,500 yards. It's got some of the longer par 4s and par 5s, right? I think it is. Yeah, longest combined par 4s and 5s on tour, but super wide fairways.
Yeah.
So that's nice. I mean, if you're going to be long, if you're going to have long courses, then, you got bombers. If you want people to score, that's kind of the world we live in today too. You got to have wide fairways. 3rd most bunkers on tour. So there's a lot of 12 holes with water danger. So you got some serious danger, when it comes to missing fairways. So you're going to have all these wide fairways. You better freaking hit them.
Yeah.
But
So,
I mean,
Puerto Vallarta, nice vacation.
yeah, it's not a bad little trip.
yeah, Puerto Vallarta. That's where my wife and I went on our honeymoon.
Squeeze in a little golf.
I doubt that.
Sorry, babe.
Yeah.
We'll be back at 9.
Nah, man, I'm trying to live that resort life at that point, as far
Wow.
as like just all inclusive type thing. If there's
Yeah.
I'm not
As many
I'm not,
drinks
I'm
as
not
you can
leaving.
get.
Yeah, I'm not
How much
leaving.
food can you get?
I'm
Trying to max out on the bang for buck ratio.
yeah, I'm eating every 35 minutes. And
I love all inclusives, man.
it's so great.
The only thing that sucks is the wait staff does not care because they've already been paid.
That's why
Yeah.
you walk around with
Tip.
a wad of ones, and you
Yep.
give them, or use like, hey bro, here's a 20. Make sure you take care of me the next 4 hours that I'm here.
Yep.
And then
It's
I'll have another
cheap.
20, 40 when I come back 2 hours after that for the next 4 hours.
Yeah, if you tip big and there's a line at the drink stand, you're not waiting long. They usually just like, hey, get that guy's drink.
Yep.
Yeah,
Not
that's
bad.
a key.
They're on it. So what are we looking for in this tournament? Just guys who can bomb the ball, since these fairways are nice and wide and forgiving.
Yeah, I think guys that play a lot of these Caribbean tournaments, probably just because the grass, or guys that play good on the West Coast events.
Oh, before we get into the picks, we have a message from our friends at Jazz Online Sportsbook, Casino, and Racebook.
Jazz, Sportsbook, Casino, and Racebook, the world's best resource for all-purpose online wagering. For over 20 years, Jazz has provided the best and quickest payouts in sports and entertainment wagers. Live sports betting, covering all the major sports leagues, and even into the new and exciting world of esports. Down the stretch you'll come, with Jazz's online horse wagering. Get paid when you play with Jazz's fun and exciting online casino games. Go online now and use the promo code TSS for our new members deals. Jazz Sportsbook, Casino, and Racebook, the world's best resource for online wagering.
The best resource for online wagering. We're going to take some of this hot information over there and get paid. We have a real golf tournament. Sure, the field is kind of weak. There's only 3 guys you've ever heard of, but somebody's going to win.
Yeah, I mean,
you just got to figure out who.
There's actually a lot of guys that we talk about that are playing that are kind of like those mid-tier guys. You just have John Rahm, obviously. I think he's the host professional for this event. And then
defending champ too, isn't he?
Yeah, Tony Finau, Wyndham Clark, Woodland, Rogers.
No, me and Wyndham Clark are fighting. I can't bet on him.
Played all right last week.
He did, and he was in contention.
Yeah, with Bo Hostler too.
Right.
I think I even mentioned, I don't think our show, if you watched the live feed, you saw our picks, but that was one of the guys I said we should watch is Hostler and Clark, because Hostler makes a ton of birdies, but he also has a couple blow-ups through the round too.
Yeah, when you're playing, isn't that a best ball situation? Is that why everybody was 26 under?
Yeah, best ball and then alternate shot.
30 under par one.
30 under.
Dude, we're looking at some sweet par 5s though this week, man. I mean, let's see, the first par 5 on hole 6 is 603 yards. So
whoa,
that's pretty fun. I mean, Adam, as a player, and you got number 12 is 637.
How many holes on tour are 600 plus?
There's a lot now.
We have one down the road, Eric. Yeah, there is a lot now.
I mean, for those guys though, I mean, they're hitting at 340. They're still got 3-wood in.
But you got to think too. Something I've been reading out about this course is that mid-afternoon is going to make it really, really interesting, because especially with guys trying to bomb things and the crosswinds that are daily there, it says, so that's going to be a big testament to what guys can do as far as hitting the ball a long ways, but trying to control it. We'll see there. But I mean, as a player, right? Wind aside, and you got multiple par 4s at 500 yards or just under 500 yards. What's your mindset going into there? It's a bomber's paradise.
A long day.
Yeah, but
it's going to be a long day. I mean,
if you're not an early tee time where it's calm, if you're out there after
Yeah.
11 o'clock in the morning and you're out there for the ladder, that's going to be interesting. And so you're going to see some really big discrepancies from morning and afternoon, right?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this yesterday while we were playing. Is like some of the par threes we were hitting 6 and 7 iron, and my partner was like, "Dude, the tour guys are hitting 9 and wedge on this hole, and we're hitting 6 iron at 180. They're hitting 8 irons in there." He's like, "It's just a whole different game." But most of these guys are hitting their 5 and 6 irons, 220, 225. So if they
But
can get it
it's
out there,
they can
300 plus,
can they control it like it's a 7 iron?
yeah, some of these guys,
Yeah. But that's a big deal.
yeah. I mean, you get a lot of wind players in here, guys that don't hit it high, but they hit it far. And it seems like we've had a lot of wind on tour this year. So I don't know.
That is
Yeah.
true, actually. I
lot
feel
of
like
weather.
I feel like a lot
Yeah.
of tournaments so far this year with weather and wind. And so guys
Because
are
even these courses that are 7,200 when they're playing in rain, it's like 7,200 feels like 8,000. It's just you get no roll. But I would assume with this being, in Puerto Vallarta, that the course drains really well, so it's probably not going to be a wet situation, even if it does rain.
yeah.
But I don't know. It's different. It looks legit. I mean,
Yeah, it does.
it looks like a resort. So the good thing about resort courses is you can spray it a lot of times and still get away with it.
Yeah. It's a very controlled environment. Wonder if
Yeah.
we got gators down there. Maybe they got crocodiles. I'm not sure.
Giant greens too.
Yeah.
That doesn't hurt. Average size 7,000 square feet, which is
That's-
8th largest on tour.
I always worry about some of these guys. Like I was looking through the list and it's like a bunch of these guys played college golf together and it's like, no, it's a Puerto Vallarta vacation. And
Yeah.
like, now all of a sudden they're up till 3 a.m. boozing with their buddies. And it's like, yeah,
I wonder how much of that actually goes on the PGA Tour.
you would be shocked.
I'm sure I would. I'm sure I would.
If you want to go and see it, we can go during the John Deere Classic. Like after it's over, I can take you to a couple of places where I have some buddies that said they've been there playing cards at 4 a.m. and there's,
Yeah, I would hate
cards.
that. I wouldn't have any fun doing that.
I mean, I've seen firsthand, I'm not going to call the guys out, but a couple of the guys that play in the John Deere regularly, and a couple of them have won it, will get done with their round and come over to Davenport Country Club or Crow Valley or Shorty and play, and they will just drink 30 beers and play.
Play poker all
Monday,
night.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I mean, these dudes, it's like an after work. It's like, oh, we're done working. Let's go play golf for fun.
I'll sit down and play some cards with those guys.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Gladly.
Some of the guys,
I might need
but
a loan though. Adam,
yeah.
Eric,
Need
CA.
some-
CA's the loan guy. He's
I
the
did
loan
see
shutout.
Jason Day's name was on their advertising for the John Deere Classic this year. So,
Yeah, you mentioned that when you were there, right? There was a
Yeah.
bunch of stuff going on with that.
so that's good. It's probably going to be a decent field, I would think, because that's kind of a crunch event where you get a major qualifier there. So,
It's a really fun event though to be a
Yeah.
part of. It's cool.
So now I'm thinking we need a middle-aged guy who drives the ball far and putts good. That's what we
Yep.
need. Some guy who's going to wake up not hungover,
We've got
few of
just the guys
Preferably-
for you.
preferably with an early tee time.
I was actually looking at the tee times and trying to see, like, okay, where could some of these guys fit? And it's a little challenging to look at it that way, though.
I mean, Tony Finau's playing, and the thing I worry about him is, he travels with 30 family members, and it's like now
It's
he's at a
wild.
resort spot. So it's like he's going to have so much distraction. I almost don't think he's even a top 10 favorite.
But the thing with Tony is a lot of his numbers, you look back for the last few years and how he's been playing, a lot of things are the same as what they've been. It's just the results haven't been there for him, which, I mean, probably bodes more towards the ridiculous amount of talent on tour.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's not like it was before when it was Tiger, Phil, and all the other guys. We got Whole crop of young dudes. Let's get into these. Smitty, who's on your top 20 list? Let me get my document out here.
All right.
Documenting some things.
Yeah, top 20 this week. I like Gary Woodland at plus 105. I have Patrick Rogers at plus 120. Nikolai Hogard at plus 130.
Hogard.
Aaron Rye at plus 170. And Akshay Bhatia at plus 300, top 20.
What are they doing? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, wait till you see
Caribbean
his
cash cow.
Wait till you see his numbers overall, though. It's you hear some of these, you're gonna be like, what? Just to give a little insight on some of these guys so far, I can speak on a little bit when it comes to, Gary Woodland. I mean, he's been playing some really good golf this year.
Yeah.
And let's not forget that he is a major champion in the last 4 years. And, he won the U.S. Open in 2019, beating out Brooks Koepka. Yeah, at Pebble.
Did he backdoor that though?
Yeah. I think did he
or
though?
Maybe he birdied at the last.
I feel like he won by a few strokes.
I feel like he backdoored it because it was like a shock. Or maybe he just outplayed Koepka. I can't remember. It was like a good battle though.
Yeah, either way, it doesn't fucking matter. He's won a major in the last 4 years. But yeah, I mean, he has 2 top 10s this year. I just feel like he finished like 14th or something like that at Augusta.
Yeah.
So he's playing some pretty good golf. And I think he's only missed 3 cuts. Let me see. Hold on, I have it right here. Yeah, he's missed 3 cuts in his 14 starts this year. So I like him a lot. I mean, knock on wood, I've said that once before this year, and I think it was one of the tournaments he played really shitty in. But man, this is a field that I feel like he could tear up, especially with how the course is set up and what he can do.
Yeah.
Patrick Rogers, with him, he took 10th last year, and you look at some of the guys that finished above him last year, they're not playing this year. And he's got 7 top 20s this year already.
Steady.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff about that. And then we've already talked about Bhatia and how he plays in courses like this. But then, like Hogard and Rye, I mean, Rye, especially as of late, has been showing that he has a little bit of a hot hand, round to round. And then Hogard has just been really solid and a guy that I think has a shot to really jump up the leaderboard here, because all these guys have played really well in much tougher conditions and fields. So why the hell can't they place in the top 20?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been seeing Rye do well. I've been playing some hole-to-hole matchups on Saturday and Sunday. And Rye has won me a few $5 wagers. And Hogard, I've seen
he played pretty good last week too.
Yeah,
I
like his game
on the leaderboard. What do you got, Adam, for 20s?
For 20s, I got Bo Hostler at 160. I think coming off the team event last week, he played pretty solid. Feel like with the lighter field, maybe he finally gets a win here. And then I got Bahati at 300. And then Jimmy Walker at 450. He's played really good he played good at Augusta, and he played pretty good last week, I think.
What are his odds?
450.
Wow, nice.
And then
he was great Thursday and Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Week after.
And then Lucas Glover at 500.
Ooh.
Just because he tends to start playing better this time of year. And then Nick Watney at 1,100. I just thought that was too good odds for him to get a top 20.
Where's your boy, like Max McGreevy?
I can't. He's probably.
I can't.
I feel like he takes these Caribbean trips. Like he does tend to he tends to cash in these Caribbean events. Like whether it's web or tour events, he usually gets a top 20 or 10 or even a top 5. But I seemed like I saw a couple of his buddies from college in that list, or a couple of Oak Tree guys, and I was like, man, that's risky because, just
yep.
I felt like Puerto Vallarta is too much temptation for Max.
Yep. Guy like Jimmy Walker, he's got gray in the beard. He'll be in bed by 10.
He was off the grid and then shows up at Augusta and played really well.
Yeah, I feel I can kind of coincide with how you're feeling because my boy Callum Tarrant was on the list, and I was like, ooh. But it's not the time.
No.
So far this year,
something from him.
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't seen Callum Tarrant in those top 20, top 40 lists lately.
No.
What about top 10s, Smitty? This is where we make the real dollars. What's Badia's got to be 500 plus 500 for top 10.
700.
Oh.
Yeah, I have Wyndham Clark at plus 180. You know, another guy, right? Playing some really good golf. And was in contention there for a while last week, and he's a guy that has been around, has kind of just been, around that area of teetering with, can I get over the hump and win?
Yeah.
Again, maybe this is a week where you can do it. I also have Gary Woodland there again at plus 220. Patrick Rogers at plus 260. And I have Hogard again at plus 280, and then Batia at plus 700. So 4 of those picks are the same as, last. I just kind of hopped off of Aaron Rye there from the top 20 to the 10. So that's where I'm at right now.
Wasn't Wyndham Clark the favorite to win that tournament that went on the same week as the Masters? And that was
the one of the players, I think.
That was in the Caribbean general region.
Yeah, that was the opposite the players.
Yeah.
And he was like first round leader and then grenaded or something.
He's got what? I think he's what, top 5 shortest odds in the field this week, right? Or he's like maybe third. Wow. I can't remember what it is. So he's up there. He's third as far as ranks to the odds to win it. So I mean, he's
Wyndham Clark getting all kinds of respect.
And he ranks 11th in driving distance this season. That was a stat that stuck out to me with him.
Yeah, that's what you want. Somebody's going to push it through these Santa Ana crosswinds, whatever they're called.
Yeah,
Ocean breeze.
I mean the greens we just spoke of, right, are gigantic. So none of these guys should have issues hitting greens. Now, how close are you to the pin when you hit the greens is a different story, but yeah, you want these guys who can bomb it a little bit and have shown that they can play at a high level so far this year. And I think Wyndham Clark fits that bill a little bit.
Is it better to be 18 feet from the hole, a little bit on the fringe where you have to chip it onto the green, or 30 feet away on the green?
I don't like to chip on past Palom. It's just wiry. It's strange grass.
I think you always want to be putting if you can be, right?
Yeah. No, I watched some of these long putts and I'm like, I wonder if that guy would rather just be.
Unless you're Jordan Spieth.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean,
that's his deal.
Actually, when we played yesterday, my buddy hits to the right, and I'm like, oh, that's headed right to the Spieth bunker.
I wonder when he practices, does he just put himself in terrible situations?
Dude, like
practice getting out of them because he knows that's how he's going to end up playing.
He doesn't have to put himself there. He can just play his normal game and he's there. So that's why he's so comfortable doing it.
When you go to these tour events, like a lot of the short game areas set up a lot like the bunkering on the course. So, I mean, when I go to tour events, I sit on the range and watch them hit balls and watch them practice chip, and they'll practice those shots. And it's crazy how good they are. Just like, I remember one year I was down there and there was like, the guy was cooling the green with the hose and like showering the green. And the guy was hitting the ball purposely. I think it was Stuart Sink. He missed the cut and he was staying because he was already getting a free trip to the British. And he was hitting like one hit short of the hose and bouncing it over. And he probably hit 30 balls like that. It was just like one hit, like the exact same spot. I was like, I probably couldn't do that 2 out of 50. And he's doing it, 30 balls in a row.
Yeah. Those guys are psychopaths.
Yeah. When you take that pressure of the cameras and all the people off, it seems like they can just do whatever they want.
Yeah.
See those. I remember those videos of Tiger bouncing the golf ball around on the club Just everything Tiger did in the mid 90s was incredibly impressive.
Yeah, all those guys can do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Wild. Well, who's in your top 10, Adam?
I've also got
Top 20s were
Hogart.
pretty crazy. So
I've got Hogart at 280 also. Alex Noren at 360. And then I've also got Bahati at 700 because I thought feels like that's easy money. And then Austin Eckroat at 1,000. And then Jimmy Walker at 1,100.
That's an interesting number.
Yeah.
There are some really interesting numbers on these in this lineup this week.
It's
so
like all the veteran players, they gave like 1,000 to 1,500.
Mm-hmm. Is it because they don't think these guys can bomb it anymore and put it in the places they need to, or what?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just maybe they feel like they don't have it, but I mean, I just feel like those, Jimmy Walker's just a guy that's on the comeback, like he's on the comeback.
One of your other boys is on it right there at plus 1,100 with Kevin Tway.
Yeah, I almost picked him, but I was like, I don't know. There's a lot of O State guys playing this week, and it's just like, man, I feel like when I pick him, he doesn't do well. I'd love to see him get a win, but
here's an interesting one: Francisco Molinari at plus 1,000, top 10.
Yeah, that's not bad.
I mean, he's a guy who could get hot, right? I mean,
yeah.
Molinari. Okay.
I mean, you go down and there's like from 1,000 down, you have Gliglick, Pendrith, Matt Wallace, Higo, guys that have been hovering that, guys that we picked that you're top 10 headed into Sunday and end up T47.
Yeah, that's why some of these guys are here this weekend, though, because they see an opportunity to make a cut and get paid.
At X points, too.
Yep.
I mean, it's all about getting points. And you look at the list of the guys that are playing in these events that we call lame because there's just no superstars, but there is more points in the elevated events. But it's one of those things is like, would you rather have $100 or would you rather have $5, 20 times? It's like, yeah.
Mr. Irrelevant for the week, Brian Davis. I don't even know who that is.
Brian Davis, he's been on tour for a while.
Plus 500,000 to win.
Unless he's a PGA guy, because I don't think he is. So like if you win the PNC, like the PGA PNC, the professional club tournament, you get like 5 tour exemptions. So, and they're usually on these events. So he could be a club pro, but I don't remember the name.
Looks like he is.
Yeah, like Zach
from
Bouchot.
London, England.
Oh, right.
He's 48 years old.
There's a lot of young guys playing.
He's not going to be partying. He's going to be eating fish and chips, going to bed at 9 p.m. I need your top 10 again because Noren and Eckroat broke my autocorrect.
Hogart at 280, Bahati at 700, Noren 360, Eckroat 1,000, and Walker 1,100.
Nice.
There's a lot of
BHA in it. No,
there's a lot of young guys playing that were studs in college this week. Zach Bouchot, McGreevy,
Max McGreevy. Boy, that's going to piss us off if he comes out of nowhere.
He's at 100,000 to win, and he has been getting top 5s in these Caribbean events. So, I mean, for $1, maybe.
It's
at 4,500 for a plus 10.
Jesus, it's crazy.
That's not bad.
So yeah, maybe I'll put him on my list here.
I just saw some interesting stats with Hogard. Makes me like him even more. It's saying that he has 4 finishes of 13th or better, including a pair of top 5s in his last 4. And then last week they had him and his partner had as far as strokes gained on all shots last week, they were the most lopsided. Hogard gained 7.6 strokes on the week, while Olsen lost 10.5.
Oh shit.
That's incredible.
To
talk about like Jesus putting a guy on your back, man.
Yeah.
His partner's terrible.
Not to get ahead to next week, but elevated event, you definitely want Fowler in the top 10 because he's top 10 in all those
In all
elevated
those
events.
Yeah. I don't know. That's pretty crazy though. Like,
So he'll be playing free and easy without the weight of this loser on his back.
no shit.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying.
Real. He's played really well. I mean,
Yeah. He was on
It
my
is-
list before I even thought about it.
yeah, in his 7 worldwide starts, right? 4 finishes of 13th or better. That's really good.
That's more than a coincidence. That's a trend.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, Smitty, who's going to win this thing? That's the question. And should we do an underdog lineup? That's the next question. But first, who's going to win the Mexico Championship?
I have Tony Finau plus 800.
It's a smart thing to have in the portfolio.
Yeah, I know this is like Adam said, and when I was hoping none of you guys would say something about it. It's like, well, he travels with all of his family and they're going to a resort style place and on the ocean, they're gonna hang out and have fun because his wife is all about having fun. If you've ever followed her on anything in social media, she's all about it. But like I said, the guy he's a really good golfer and just hasn't placed, where he's wanted to this year. But I think that he's a guy that definitely is good enough to win. I mean,
Yeah.
he's just some things with him, right? Like he's gained strokes with his irons in all 10 starts this year so far. So that's a good thing.
I just love that he's playing in all these not so big events.
Mm-hmm. I think that plus full swing is gaining this guy a ton of fans.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. He's Rahm, Scotty, and Cantlay are the only ones ahead of him in strokes gained total. That means he's played really well this year.
I mean,
and just some bad
to
luck,
not
right?
play.
He's played good. I think maybe he's looking at his quick, FedEx pickup too. Like, get first or second, pick up some heavy points, move up that list.
Yep.
Bump way up on that Ryder Cup list too. I mean,
that's why I think it's got to be to him. It's got to be a really big week to him because he has an opportunity to legitimately win this thing. Now he's got John Rahm there right with him, obviously, and it was a really heavy favorite because we never see plus 250 for a regular event.
Yeah.
It's nuts. But
yeah,
you got to be thinking Tony Finau's got to be expecting to be in the top 5.
Oh yeah.
Right. But moving forward, I have Wyndham Clark at plus 1,600, Gary Woodland at plus 2,200. I have Patrick Rogers at plus 2,800, and I have Akshay Bhatia at plus 9,000. Which is
what
we got. I mean,
yeah.
People that are listening,
I'm putting $10 on that right now.
Right. When you have odds on on a guy like him, who I think is going to be a longevity player, on the PGA Tour, and he's going to be a very good one, and potentially even in the next 3 to 5 years, a star on tour.
I mean, this is a kid
you got to put some damn money on this guy.
This is a kid who didn't go to college. He turned pro right after high school. He was like the best junior golfer in the world. Decides, hey, college isn't for me, and tries to go out and make it. Gets a sponsorship. Callaway. Callaway's been supporting him the whole time, and he didn't do anything, just grind and grind. And he finally is starting to show in the last 2 years that he could play. I don't know if that's just the difference between being 17 and being 22, He just didn't get the college experience to beat him down like some of these guys.
Yeah, I mean, like we were talking, with this year so far with him, right? On the Corn Ferry Tour, finishing T4 and T7 in back-to-back Bahamas events. And then when he got his membership privilege on the PGA Tour, it was a runner-up at the Puerto Rico Open.
Yeah.
Right? This is the same type of course that he's coming to right now.
Same.
He's going to feel so confident. He's going to remember, hey, I've played really well at places like this, and I'm
But
going
he
to come
played
and do it again.
every web event they've had in Dominican, Puerto Rico, Puerto Vallarta, all these places.
Yep.
Yeah. He's familiar with this stuff.
Yeah, I like him.
But I mean, if you look at the Ryder Cup standing, like some of these guys are moving up the list quietly. Tony is 19th. That's probably why he's here this week.
Mm-hmm.
A win probably gets him close to that top 10. But, you know, Davis Riley's right there. Buckley,
I was
all these guys.
surprised to not see Davis
Woodland.
Riley this week.
Yeah. He's probably playing next week.
Yeah, but I felt like it's a perfect place for him to come and play. So, and another guy too, I mean, obviously, because he's probably playing next week too, but is Kurt Kitayama, who played last year too. Those were two of the guys I was talking about with.
He showed some fatigue at RBC, so I think a lot of these guys are taking a week off, 2 weeks off, just to like recharge the battery. He played last week though.
Those two guys were two guys that I was talking about from last year that placed ahead of Patrick Rogers and aren't there anymore, which makes it some of these guys even more.
Him and Montgomery finished 19th last week, so.
Ooh, that's not going to do it.
No.
What does your winners list look like, Adam?
It's a lot like Smitty's. I got Clark at 1,600. I just thought those odds are way too good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's not the favorite, so the pressure's kind of off of him. Maybe he shows out this week. And then I had to pick Rahm at 260 just because I haven't had a winner in a while, and I thought, let's go with the favorite for once. I don't do that very often. Patrick Rogers also at 2,800. And then I had Bo Hostler at 3,500. I just felt like maybe something. He played good on the West Coast, and
that's really great odds for him.
Yeah.
Good stab there.
And then I had Bahadia at 99,000 because it's 9,000.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's going to get a win eventually, and it's going to be in the Caribbean.
And this is the perfect place for him, the perfect field and the perfect course for him to come and win.
Yeah. He's not going to win TPC Twin Cities, but in the Caribbean, I like his chances.
True or false? John Rahm is going to see a bunch of friends and family who he hasn't seen since he won the Masters, and he's probably going to celebrate with those people.
I think he's been celebrating since the Masters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Credit to him for showing up.
I think he's trying to get a few rounds because he obviously didn't play last week, and you got an elevated event next week. And,
without looking at the schedule or his schedule, I'd be willing to bet that there are going to be some idle weeks like in a row where you're not going to see John Rahm.
The favorite just going to kind of mail it in this week. And
he said that he's kind of a weirdo. He doesn't even like to take days off. He's like, even if I take the week off, I'm still playing and practicing every day. But I would almost bet we see him the week after next week because that's in Texas. And I think his wife's from Texas or Dallas area. And I want to say he lives in Dallas. So that's going to be a big event too, even though it's not a big money event, but you've got Spieth, Scotty, Rahm, all these guys that live in Dallas area, they're going to be playing. So could be a big event. I think that's actually, I'd have to look. I think that's Spieth's sponsor. So he's definitely playing. I was trying to look. Yep. AT&T Byron Nelson. There's no way Spieth's missing that one. Right. That's his sponsor in Texas. In McKinney. So yeah. Next week is Wells Fargo. So that's always a good tournament.
Yeah, I'm excited for something like a bigger tournament like that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I mean, last week we talked about it, but I don't know if we want to talk about Rodeo Dunes.
Oh yeah.
The YouTube viewers got to see me and Smitty talk about Rodeo Dunes, but we didn't get to talk about it on the air.
We can do a Rodeo Dunes outtake, maybe rough import cut. I'm getting word that that the throwdown is starting at 9:45, so we got to get out of here. I will run down our picks quickly. Smitty's top 20: Woodland, Rogers, Hogard, Rye, Bhatia. Adams top 20: Hostler, Bhatia, Jimmy Walker, Glover, Watney, Smitty's top 10, Wyndham, Woodland, Rogers, Hogard, Bhatia. Adam's top 10, Hogard, Noren. Great odds on Noren. Eckroad, Bhatia, Jimmy Walker. Smitty's winners, Finau, Clark, Woodland, Rogers, Bhatia. Adam's winners, Clark, Rahm, Rogers, Hostler, Bhatia. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Please subscribe to this channel. Throw us some reviews. We will be back here next week with more plus money opportunities. Adam, say something cool that golfers say.
Welcome to the fucking show.